Good morning, folks. It's good to be with you. I appreciate being able to visit with you once more this week. Last week, since we met and visited together, the tobacco market in Wilson opened, and there was a great celebration in Wilson to commemorate 135 years of tobacco enterprise in Wilson, North Carolina. And Wilson was somewhat the hub, which it was and continues to be, but for them to celebrate this great event, it involved a lot of other communities, and I like to say all roads lead to Wilson when it comes to tobacco activity. And so all of this was a big kickoff, and I'd like to begin with that. Here's some remarks from the Wilson newspaper, the Wilson Times. In the spirit of grand celebrations of yesteryear, the 135th opening of Wilson's world's greatest tobacco market was observed with fanfare last Wednesday morning. We are excited about having this celebration, said Penda Shar, a Wilson County farmer, who is the new chairman of the Wilson County Agribusiness Committee. We want to invite everyone to come because your ancestors participated in this. Come and see what it's like today. We're going to emphasize how important this crop is in the Wilson economy today. We look forward to this celebration and look forward to seeing everybody at the occasion. Horizon Limited, which is the name of one of the tobacco warehouses in Wilson, is one of Wilson's largest warehouses. It'll host the event, which was sponsored by the North Carolina Cooperative Extension in Wilson, with some support and assistance from other companies and individuals. The public was invited to attend the program. The ceremony began at 8 a.m. North Carolina Commissioner of Agriculture Steve Troxler and U.S. Representative Don Davis delivered remarks, followed by a recitation of an original poem about the world's greatest tobacco market by historian and longtime industry watcher Parker Phillips of Fair Products. That is me. And I'm not reading this to you because of me, but I was participating, and this is part of the report. When tobacco was primarily sold through the auction, tobacco market opening ceremonies were an annual event, said Norman Harrell, director of Wilson's Cooperative Extension Office. Opening events would draw large crowds, and many elected officials would attend. After the ceremony of last week, a live auction was held beginning at 9 a.m. Kenneth Kelly, owner of Horizon Limited, one of two secondary tobacco market stations in Wilson, said that he was very excited and happy to host the event. It was something that happened annually in the old days, Kelly said. The group kind of wanted to put back together this year and have some recognition, so it's a great idea. The Wilson County Young Farmers Association will have the 2024 version of the world's greatest tobacco market decorative automobile license plate for sale. When you go to Wilson, you see many license plates with a very appealing tobacco leaf and the words Wilson, world's greatest tobacco market. And they make a new emblem every year. Therefore, you may have an entire collection. And this was like a collector's item, the one last week that was available and continues to be available 135 years. Rick Smith of Independent Leaf Tobacco said that about 75 or 80% of the flue-cured crop grown in the country will come through Wilson. It's the marketing center of the United States, quite frankly, Smith said. Opening day was an event. The governor, commissioners, senators, everybody came for opening day. It was a big, big thing. Smith said Wilson is the greatest tobacco market because it hosts the growers' points of sale. It is all concentrated in Wilson, Smith said. There are a few markets around here and there, but nothing big. All the big stuff comes through Wilson. All the big stations. The bulk of the volume comes through here. In the old days, just about every crossroads had a tobacco market. In peak market years, 100 million pounds of tobacco could change hands. If the crop is 300 million, give or take, overall now, I would have to estimate that close to 200 million of that would move through Wilson. These figures we are giving have to do with the estimated tonnage of the tobacco acreage that really represents tobacco from North Florida to Southside Virginia. And I was quoted on this as well, and these are my remarks. I said, Kelly's estimate is very correct. That is staggering when you consider 300 million pounds today in production compared to in 1953, 1,300,000,000 pounds is what I said. That really blows my mind. So the tonnage, the volume has declined, certainly, but we still applaud it with all our hearts. I said that the 135th anniversary celebration was indeed a red letter day. The first tobacco market in Wilson occurred in 1890. From that point on, the tobacco market has been a tremendous part of commerce and the community, and it has truly contributed immensely to the welfare of the community. It has embraced the culture of our community. I said also that tobacco comes into Wilson from all over the tobacco belt, from North Florida to Southside Virginia. Pender Sharp, who was the master of ceremonies, said he remembers a time when tobacco market opening was celebrated very much in Wilson. I distinctly remember Parkwood Mall closing and having tables in the mall and a black tie dinner and dance in celebration of the tobacco market, Sharp said. Year after year, there were celebrations at the Big Star Warehouse with music and food and gathering of the tobacco family and all those associated with it. It is because back in those days, tobacco meant so much to so many people, not just the farms, but the people that furnished the goods and services to grow the crop, the people that worked in it and received income just being in the community, those that truck it, those that furnished tires, those that repaired tractors and equipment, people that built buildings and sold supplies. So it touched everyone's pocketbook in the community, and that's why it was celebrated. And that's why we gathered last week to resume this and to applaud this legacy. Back to Mr. Sharp and his comments. In those days, Sharp said, tobacco was grown under a government program and was managed very tightly. We knew every day how many pounds of tobacco was sold and what it brought. The Wilson Daily Times printed that in the bottom right-hand corner of the front page of the paper every day, what was sold the previous day. Wilson had emerged many, many years ago as not only the greatest tobacco market in the area, but as the world's largest tobacco market for many years, and always the greatest. So that is a little bit of a preview of what happened last week, and here is a report of actually what went on during the ceremony. We gathered perhaps 200 people, and it was last Wednesday, the 14th of August, and this was to celebrate the 135th tobacco market opening, and with a celebration that occurred in Wilson. Attendees clapped during Wilson's tobacco market opening ceremony, celebrating the 135th anniversary of the market in Wilson. Growers, farm families, buyers, agribusiness representatives, bankers, educators, and elected officials formed a crowd of 250 people to celebrate the 135th opening of the Wilson Tobacco Market last Wednesday. Horizon Limited, which was the warehouse, hosted the gathering as the largest crowd in recent history observed the first auction of Bright Leaf. A lot has changed in North Carolina in 135 years, but the one thing that has not changed is tobacco, said North Carolina Commissioner of Agriculture Steve Troxler. It is still the top crop that we grow out of the ground value-wise in North Carolina. A lot of farm families still depend on tobacco for their income, and of course, then there's the heritage, the history. All of that is so endearing. Troxler, a longtime farmer himself, said it was wonderful to attend the opening day. I think back to all of the opening days that I went to as a farmer, and quite frankly, by that time of the year, you are basically broke because you spent all your money on the crops and you need a payday. So it is indeed a very special day, Troxler said. Troxler posed with new automobile license plates celebrating the world's greatest tobacco market. The greatest tobacco market in the world, I think, says it all, Troxler said. This area has been the epicenter of growing tobacco for hundreds of years. So it is fitting that we are here today celebrating 135 years and the importance of Wilson and this area in the tobacco world. Every crop here is different, and a farmer's tenacity to make a crop and to make a living is what it's all about. Troxler said farmers were affected by the recent heavy rains from Tropical Storm Debbie. The bad thing about Debbie is we had actually turned the corner on demand, Troxler said. We had more demand for this crop of tobacco than we had had in a long time, but Debbie has taken away a lot of that production potential. In my area, most of the tobacco is flat on the ground. It has been set up sometimes 2 and 3 times. So we know there is a problem out there brewing, and we're going to have to deal with it. Troxler said he hoped people would take the day to remember what agriculture means to the state. It's the number one industry, Troxler said. It is $11.1 billion in economic impact. Let me repeat that again, $11.1 billion. That is here in the state, in North Carolina. So today is a day we celebrate not only the opening of the tobacco market and the legacy of tobacco, but the legacy of agriculture as a whole in North Carolina. Farmer Pender Sharp acted as master of ceremonies. Sharp is also the new chairman of the Wilson County Agribusiness Committee. I am very pleased to be able to do this, and I want to thank everybody in the tobacco family for being here today, Sharp said. Wow, at my age, this brings back a lot of memories. I can remember coming with my dad and granddad to opening day in Wilson when I was a little kid. It has been a serious impact on this community financially, socially, among the entire tobacco family. Sharp said no one can mistake the aroma of freshly cured tobacco. Bales of it were up for sale in the warehouse following the ceremony. That smell that people have smelled on the streets of Wilson for 135 years is because our tobacco is unique. It is grown in a part of the world that has perfect soil, the perfect climate, the perfect expertise to make it the best tobacco in the world. And that aroma that you smell does not exist anywhere else in the world except from eastern North Carolina. Wilson Mayor Carlton Stevens said the city appreciated the tax revenue that it was receiving from tobacco dollars. I just love you for it, Stevens said. I just want to say thank you. Keep farming. Rob Boyette, chairman of the Wilson County Board of Commissioners, said Wilson is the home of the flue-cured tobacco anywhere in the world. You are here today to open the Wilson tobacco market for the 135th time, Boyette said. That is a wonderful thing for everybody who lives here. That money that flows through our county is important, not just to our agribusiness community, our farmers, but it's important to a lot of citizens in the county. U.S. Representative Don Davis said the opening is a big deal. I can't think of a better place that I am more proud to be for an opening, Representative Davis said. This is bigger than the New York Stock Exchange. And he goes on to continues to applaud the benefit of the tobacco market. Poet Parker Phillips. Now that's a very nice distinction for me. I appreciate it. I didn't go out looking that, but nevertheless, I said, which I'm an observer of the market, all of that. I gave a tribute to the largest bright leaf market on earth, and it resides here in Wilson, North Carolina. And so 135 years is quite an event. This was organized by the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service in Wilson, sponsored by several local businesses to support it. A good time was had by all. My time has run out. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in. Thank you for allowing me to share with you. I look forward to being with you next week. Have a good week and God bless you.